Natan, and this week in life, the funeral procession and memorial service for Congressman and legendary civil rights activist John Lewis took place in Washington, D.C., where he was laid to rest, and Atlanta, Georgia, where his funeral was held on Thursday. Throughout his entire life, Lewis fought with incredible perseverance against racism and other forms of inequality in the U.S. Some of his notable deeds include leading the March from Selma to Montgomery, which took place in 1965, and he later was the youngest person to speak at the March on Washington at only 23 years old. He went on to fight on so many more political fronts, being elected to Congress at 46 and serving for 34 years until his death due to pancreatic cancer on July 17th. His casket was first brought over the Edmund Pettus Bridge in Selma, Alabama. This was the very bridge where he and many other marchers were brutally attacked by state troopers. The civil rights activists were not deterred, however, and they later were able to complete the march from Selma to Montgomery to fight for voting rights. The casket was then taken from Alabama to Washington, D.C., to receive the distinct honor of lying in state in the Capitol Dome. On Thursday, John Lewis's funeral was held at the Ebenezer Baptist Church in Atlanta, Georgia, the church where both Lewis and Martin Luther King Jr. spoke. Lewis lived in Atlanta for most of his adult life and represented that district in Congress. Among the many people who gave remarks at the funeral were Martin Luther King Jr.'s daughter and fellow civil rights activist Bernice King, James Lawson, and Lewis's niece, Sheila Lewis. At the end of the funeral, a strong and moving eulogy was given by former President Barack Obama. In the eulogy, Obama recounted Lewis's life, his many accomplishments, and how he has inspired so many people, including Obama himself. He also made a call to action to continue and honor the legacy of John Lewis, saying that when America achieves true equality, John Lewis will be the founding father of that fuller, better America. Now on to This Week in Life in History. On July 27, 1940, Bugs Bunny was first seen on film in a Warner Brothers animation, A Wild Hare. On July 28, 1868, the 14th Amendment, the amendment granting citizenship to anyone born or naturalized in the U.S., including freed slaves, was added to the American Constitution. On July 29, 1958, NASA, the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, was created. On July 30th, 1619, the House of Burgesses, the first assembly in the American colonies, met in Jamestown, Virginia. On July 31st, 1777, Marquis de Lafayette was appointed to Major General of the Continental Army, and on August 1st, 1961, the first Six Flags was opened in Texas. That's all for now, so let's go over to Alexander with This Week in Tech.
Thanks, Natan. This Week in Tech, we're talking about Intel's 7nm delays, TikTok bans in the US, and MSI's shady marketing tactics. Now let's get into the tech news. Intel announced that they are delaying their 7nm process by another half a year, while AMD and Nvidia are already on that node. Coupled with their late and problematic 10nm node, investors aren't very happy, to say the least. At this rate, they're set to have their 7nm node by late 2022 or early 2023. For now, they're going to have to work on refining their 10nm process before moving on to 7nm. Unfortunately, moving on is not what TikTok is going to be doing in the US. Trump is on the verge of banning TikTok in the US. The main reason for this is supposedly because of all the national security risks and all the information it gathers, and the fact that it could all be just taken up by the Chinese government at any time. Trump is trying to get TikTok to sell its US divisions to US companies so that they can have a separate version of TikTok, and so that they can moderate it themselves. And surprisingly, one of these companies whose looking into buying it is Microsoft, of all people. Anyway, Trump. Although despite that, Trump is considering just straight up banning TikTok as a form of punishment for the pandemic. Look, it doesn't make sense to me either, okay? What also doesn't make sense is why MSI is continuing to pay YouTubers to reword or straight up delete videos criticizing their product, even after getting exposed multiple times. Last Friday, Gamers Nexus revealed many of the shady practices that MSI is doing so that they can get a better reputation, which kind of backfired on them, you know? Steve Burke wasn't the first one to reveal all these shady practices. Gamers Nexus wasn't the first channel to reveal this. Hardware Unboxed and Tech Team GB have also mentioned it in either videos or posts. I'm not going to go detail on what MSI has been doing, but one of the things they have been doing is sending emails that requesting that they change a word or title or phrase, or ask that they even take down the whole video, or else they'll stop working with the said YouTuber. If you'd like to learn more about this topic, please do watch Gamers Nexus or Hardware Unbox's overview, or, well, not just overview, full-on video about this topic, which will be linked right here. Speaking of topics, that was the last topic of the week. Stay safe, stay awesome, and as always, stay smart. Over to Noah with This Week in Sports.
Welcome to This Week in Sports. It's part of the show where I bring you what sports have to offer throughout the course of this week. Right, let's get into it. Our first story of today is from the FA Cup final, where Chelsea lost to Arsenal 2-1. They lost because of two Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang goals, and one of those goals was a penalty. Our next story is about the NBA, where they have finally started the bubble season, where the first two games took place. The first game between the Jazz and the Pelicans, the Jazz won. The second game between the Lakers and the Clippers, the Lakers won, which sealed them the 1 seed in the NBA playoffs. Finally, 17 members of the Miami Marlins baseball organization have contracted COVID-19. The previous teams that they have played in the series, the Philadelphia Phillies, have canceled their series against the New York Yankees. And they've also canceled their series against the Baltimore Orioles. That's all for This Week in Sports. On to This Week in Media with Hannah.
Thanks, Yasmin. This week in media has been pretty uneventful, but Trump revealed to reporters on Friday that he plans to ban TikTok unless a deal is reached in which an American company purchases it. He also criticized Dr. Deborah Birx for saying how COVID-19 was a widespread problem. Joe Biden also has yet to announce his vice president pick. That's it for now. Bye, guys!
Hey guys, I hope you liked that episode of This Week in Life. If you like this new upload day of Monday, please make sure to leave a like, comment your favorite part of the episode, and while you're at it, subscribe and hit that bell icon so you get notified every time we post an episode, which is now weekly Mondays. Thank you all so much for watching, and we will see you